Anthony Hartwig here with a Crestview Volleyball player profile. I'm joined by Katie Lissi. Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yep.
This Crestview Volleyball team is just one of the more dominant teams we've ever seen. They just shirred up their 8th straight conference championship, and that spans through 4 different conferences that they've been in over that span. So from your perspective, what's it like to be part of a program that is just experiencing such a window of success right now?
Well, our coach actually just had to remind us how big that is to have such a long stretch of successes, because we don't really think about that all that much, if that makes sense. We usually just kind of focus on how to get better, and that's about it really. And then every day we just work day in, day out to try and get better.
So what was it like when coach tried to just make you guys grasp how big this was? I mean, you guys have not lost a match inside the MVAC, and you've only lost one set as a program since the MVAC started 4 years ago. When you hear stuff like that, I mean, does it get to you, or do you just kind of, okay, that's cool, let's keep working?
I would definitely say the latter, because there's just a moment of pause after she said this is a big deal, guys, and don't take away from the success, because in years past we've also been successful, but this year's also been successful, so don't take away from that success, and to, I don't know, just keep getting better really. I mean, we're just kind of I don't know, constantly striving to rise above, if that makes sense.
Does the success ever bring you or any of or the team any kind of pressure to say hey, we have to hold up the Crestview that everyone expects us to be, and obviously with success comes expectations from the outside, or does you guys not feel that at all?
I feel I personally it doesn't really weigh too much on me. Sometimes I think it will get to us. I feel last year it got to us a little more than it did this year. But we do definitely feel like a target for other schools and stuff, essentially, which we find exciting, because we want people to try their hardest to take us out and to play us well so that we can get better and work harder. So I feel we feel that target more than that pressure, if that makes sense.
You're one of the seniors on this team, so I have to ask what it's been like for you to go through this year, knowing that it's your last go around and everything that you do with this Crestview program, it's the last time you're doing it. How have you been handling all those emotions that can bring?
Well, I haven't really, I don't think it's really hit yet that this is going to be my last year doing all this. But I feel what really sets apart this year, aside from it being my senior year, is that we're kind of having a little more fun with it, if that makes sense. We've had fun in the past years, don't get me wrong, but this year it's about really just enjoying the sport and enjoying the people in it too, and just having fun while working hard and pushing ourselves.
You guys can get real reflective for senior year. It's the time when you can really start to think about your career and what you've done and the memories you've made. What are some of your favorite memories with this Crestview program that you've already made with this team?
That one's kind of tough. I honestly would just say there aren't really very many games that come to mind for that, but I just honestly feel the memories I've made with the people and my friends and the team as a whole really stand out. Some of their silliness and just goofiness, really just, we all have fun with it.
I want to talk about that silliness, that goofiness, that looseness. Usually, the stigma that comes with a super successful team is they're stoic, they're taking care of business, they're just all focused on the court. But you guys balance that with an extreme looseness and extreme silliness and extreme, just like you said, having fun with it. How are you guys able to so masterfully balance being loose, but also, like you said, working hard and making sure you're getting the focus and the work done?
That is definitely something that we've struggled with a couple times this year, especially, where we've either been too far serious or too far silly. Usually that's when coach kind of comes in and is like, hey, you guys need to kind of buckle down and focus. Like, it's great we're having fun, but now's the time to work a little bit harder or to focus and like get a little more serious. Or she'll say the opposite, where we're playing way too tense and that we just need to let loose and have more fun with it. And usually after her telling us that, or like, I don't know, just showing us that, it's usually when we like kind of, it clicks and like we realize like, oh yeah, I guess we were playing too tense, or I guess we were playing too serious.
Talk about you on the floor. You bring, a role to this team that a lot of volleyball outsiders overlook. With a right side hitter and your defense, you definitely have the blocking numbers that you're putting up this year, and you've started to really find a rhythm offensively. It seems like the last couple of weeks. What do you think that you bring to the team that is so important from your perspective?
Mm, I definitely feel like just playing your part and focusing kind of more on yourself so that the others can like rise, if that makes sense. So like without me picking up tips on right side, we wouldn't have a good set or we wouldn't have a good hit, or without me setting a good block for Abby to, or whoever my middle is, to close to and get those blocks. Like that's really important. And definitely just trying to like not compare yourself to other people, as like everybody has their jobs, their roles to complete. And I can always look to them. If I'm having an off day or something, I can always look to them and be like, all right, well, they're focusing and they're doing their job. And I can try and focus on what I can do better to help other people on my team be successful or to like solidify their role.
you know, you're not the only person on this team that has that role player mentality either. There are a lot of other pieces that aren't necessarily getting to like the big stats that are glorified by the media, but they're definitely doing important work on the floor. What makes this team and this program so easy to buy into that mindset for you and your teammates that have to do that, do you think?
I think it's just how like this team is. Like the people on it really, like I know Abby and Grace, like they're definitely like our top like players for sure in stats and just in general. But like they're not snooty about it or anything like that at all. Like they're still silly. They still celebrate when everybody else does something good, and it's just genuine. And like their genuineness, it's fun to see and it's fun to be around and it's fun to play with 100%. And when they do get those kills or something that like someone who maybe doesn't have as big of a role or whatever, like if someone like that contributes, they celebrate for us too. And it's just really fun being around them and people like that and our whole team in general, like celebrating and stuff each other.
When you talk about celebrating everybody, one of the things I love when I come to Crestview is seeing the varsity players watch the JV, and not just watch it, but you're engaged in it. You're celebrating every time that one of those JV players does something great. What's so important about doing that and about making those JV players know that you're watching, you're supporting, you're behind them, you want them to succeed?
Um, I don't know. Probably just because like I remember being in their shoes, being like struggling to find, I don't know, maybe if I was having an off game or something, just looking up to them and being like, oh, like maybe they just seeing that they're here to cheer for me no matter what. They're here to have my back no matter what, even if I have an off game or something, or vice versa. Even if like I'm doing amazing, just hearing them like cheer for me and like being involved in what I'm doing was just really what motivated me to try and get more minutes on the varsity court when I was younger. And I feel like that's really important to try and just like motivate them and just get them like really involved in the program and stuff. And it's just great to see anybody succeed in this program at whatever level they're at. It's really fun.
We got to ask you about Coach Howard because she's definitely one of the most respected coaches in the area. We only get to see her, on the sidelines and before a game. We don't get to see her in practice and all the things that you guys do. From your perspective, what is something about Coach Howard that maybe we don't get to see that you think everybody should know?
I guess maybe just her like trust in us and her bluntness almost with us. Because if we are doing like if we are performing at a level that she thinks we can get higher than that or something, she will let us know and we will go back and work on it for sure. Like if we're struggling with a certain drill or something and she knows that we can do much better, she will tell us that and she will be very blunt with us. She will not sugarcoat anything and she will push us that far. And just like kind of watching her push us that far also creates like a self-discipline in us too. So we want to get to that level. We want to push harder. We want to do better at this drill, even if we're struggling at it. And just having that like constant like motivator is really important.
Not a lot of teams have pushed you this year. You've only lost one set, and you've only been in a handful of competitive sets as a total. But you've always responded to those moments, even though you haven't been pushed a lot. What do you think gives this team the ability to, when they are get pushed, or when they do have teams come in and compete, or give you a game? What gives you that ability to not matter that you haven't been there before? You haven't been pushed that much. What is it about this team that's able to do that?
I would say it's probably a mix between our practices and also just the sheer excitement to play, have competitive sets and have competitive games because we've been looking forward to this all season. Like this is what we practice for. We practice super hard and like we want to get like better and the only way to get better is to play competitively and play against teams that will challenge us or try and maybe like find our weak points. And it's just super, I don't know, exciting to like have that sort of challenge and stuff. And I feel like we don't really get in our heads as much because we're like, well, we practice extremely hard. This is what we practice for. This is like the reason why we play this sport. Just that kind of feeling of like excitement and just like can't wait to play, I guess.
You're a senior, which means we do have to talk about your future as well and what you plan to do outside of high school. So what are some of your future plans? What are some of the things that you see for yourself in your future?
Um, I'm not too sure yet, but I do think I'm going to be going to like a local college. I'm thinking about YSU. And like major wise, I've been thinking psychology a lot, or maybe forensic psychology, something to do with that. And I do want to stay involved in like some athletics. So I might do like intramurals or like club sports in college just to stay active and continue with that.
What got you going down the psychology path? What kind of things made you interested in wanting a career in that field?
Honestly, just like I have always had like a fascination with how people's like minds work and how people think about things really. And just like I don't know, to be able to study that and to be able to study maybe like outcrops of people or like exceptions and stuff like that of how people think and how our brains work would just be really neat, I feel like.
All right, Katie, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system and the people that are in your corner, the people that have been there for you throughout your career. Whoever you want to give a shout out to, I'm going to give you the time to do that.
I would just honestly like to thank my parents because they've been a big part of it and my family as a whole. Like they come to every game that they can, and I really appreciate that. Also, like the coaching staff and just my teammates, 100%. I know they always have my back too, and yeah.
Katie, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it so much. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the senior season. We hope this tournament run goes as long as it can for you guys so you can hold on to that senior season as long as possible. We wish you the best of luck again, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.